Well, cool. Here we are. It's tunnel meeting number 144. It's April 29th, 2025. And today we're being joined by colleague Guillermo, Tevo, Zork, Jeffrey, and Vanni. Thanks for being here. Relatively small audience. And today is the monthly workgroup updates town hall. So I'm not quite sure if all workgroups will be represented. So we'll have to see and find out as we go. As you can see on screen, the main agenda item is the workgroup updates for today. There are a couple of mentions, and yeah, if there's any time at the end of the slot, we can have open topics where anything goes. And a quick reminder on what the ambassador program even is and what we're doing. We're a group of like-minded people that are quite in tune with the Singularity Net ecosystem mission and vision, working towards beneficial decentralized AGI. And we try and support this through a wide range of self-organizing work groups. And if you're interested in joining and helping out, we do have a work group that fits your interests. Do hop onto our Discord server. It will show a how to join section, and that section will tell you how to join. Hope to see you there. Then a couple of mentions. First of all, not trying to take any shine away from you, Guillermo, but I figured I would put a little extra attention on the proposals for RnD being open until Friday, end of day UTC. But I imagine
indeed.
you might touch on it.
We will mention that, but extended version.
Cool. And I wanted to have a little check on the workgroup syncing call, because right now it's not slotted in. And last month we initially had it on the Thursday following this town hall at 11 UTC, 11 a.m. UTC. And that then got pushed because of very low attendance. And right now it's not slotted in. And Thursday is kind of full. There's a little slot technically available at 15 UTC. That would put 5 calls in a row on the calendar. So a 5-hour shift there for some people, which might be a bit much. So yeah, I figured I would put it to the town hall and then try and figure out a slot for the workgroup syncing call. So yeah, I don't know if we want to have it on Thursday, which I kind of feel like Wednesday is a bit too soon. Like it's tomorrow, we would need to share it to people. I kind of feel it would need to be Thursday or Friday, and Friday has some calls on it. We can squish it in at perhaps 13 UTC. But I'm not sure what others think what makes more sense. Do it on the Thursday or on the Friday. So any thoughts?
Not exactly, but we did it on Wednesday last time and it wasn't that badly attended. So I wonder if even if it is tomorrow, maybe that was a time that works for people.
Trying to find it, but maybe I'm confusing this. I had the idea. Looks like to me, at least in the calendar base, the last one was on a Thursday 11 UTC.
Oh, right. Maybe I've got it wrong then.
But then we shifted it to I believe Monday afterwards.
Oh, that's it. It was Monday, wasn't it? Yeah.
I'm not sure what the attendance was like at that. I do remember I couldn't make that one.
I remember it not being bad, the last one that we had, and that was on a Monday.
Okay. I could put it on Monday then. It's a national holiday here, but I can squeeze in an hour.
Yeah, same. Actually thinking about that. Yeah, we shouldn't schedule things on national holidays for anyone.
Like Dutch national holidays shouldn't impact the ambassador program. I feel it's so niche.
Well, it's a national holiday in a lot of places. It's May Day. Workers' rights, Peter. Come on.
Isn't that May 1st? I thought that was May 1st.
Well, it is, but it's the nearest Monday to it is the
Ah,
holiday, isn't it?
okay, okay. Well, we don't celebrate that here, to be honest. On the 5th of May here is Liberation Day. But okay, okay.
But if it's a monthly call and we just slide it by week, is it an issue?
Not really. I don't think. I would rather have a proper workgroup syncing call than rush it in to make a certain deadline. Um,
Agreed.
And the last one was on the 7th anyway. So if it's monthly, we've gone to the start of the month, not the end.
Yeah, that was the idea of the change. So we go at the beginning, so we kind of orchestrate and plan ahead of the month. That was the idea of changing the date for working season. So I don't know, maybe whatever day next week works. Probably no rush.
all right.
Yeah.
Then let's try and get that sorted out outside of this call, perhaps. If it's going to be next week anyway,
Okay.
there's a bit of the urgency. All right, I'll write it down and post in decisions to be made or governance channel, I guess. Cool. Yeah, well, that's pretty much it as far as mentions are concerned. So that brings us to the bulk of today's agenda, being the workgroup updates. And there's a long list of 7 workgroups for which I can put one person on the spot here. Tavo, the floor is yours.
All right. Oh yeah, I was preparing a list for myself, but you have it on all here. Well, we don't have treasury policy workers, so that's for certain, and that's been at least like 6 months. But regarding like treasury guild in general, we are now also not meeting weekly, or actually we don't meet at all. It's all asynchronous. Main things I remember was I finished the consent dashboard, or at least the metrics of like how many people voted and all that, shared it, kind of got it under our Mara board in one place. For the link, you would have need to dig a bit on the Treasury Guild channel. Everything is now happening there. I don't think any like big conversations are in threads, so everything is out in public. Don't need to dig into threads themselves. And yeah, I don't know. It's kind of casual right now with that guild itself. When we go to operations, yeah, we also don't meet. That was now I'm on this like a new schedule of on Thursday doing a bit of coding. However, I'm not yet still building the user interface on like trying to fix every or add any feature I'm doing, and been focusing on the GitHub integration. And we just had like this interesting situation where T-work was down for a day, and then we didn't know if it's gonna happen longer. So that's something, a risk that we are going to lose over time if we move to GitHub. And yeah, next Treasury automation workgroup is next week. So I think if not, then in 2 weeks. And if anybody has GitHub, wants to move GitHub, and wants directly to get rewarded through moving stuff in GitHub, then join that session. I will present the integration, what we have done so far, and how to make your GitHub to be able to receive funds directly from Treasury. I don't know if I explained it correctly, but yeah, that's the kind of idea that we skip now the debug stuff and we don't have to make duplicate tasks to reward people. That kind of pulls together the Treasury side. On the process guild and knowledge, yeah, in general, I don't know, just casually importing in meetings. I do notice a lot less meetings. There is also dashboard now integrated into the Treasury Manager itself. So it's not, I'm not doing it on debug. So less overhead, much easier again to do stuff. But yeah, just take for another month or a progress report, and all the statistics and stuff will go there. I think it's working. Yeah, now just the question is, are you happy with the recordings, and is it useful enough to keep rewarding that? And knowledge base workgroup is, well, we now have the GitHub, all the assets are done. However, all the assets are 1 year outdated because it took so long to put them into the GitHub. And so the process now starts again. Me and Effiam are the people who are going to collect assets. So if you're making a new document or a new process or a new decision, or you want to, and you think it should be visible in knowledge base, drop it in process code channel or send it to me or Effiam. And we also ourselves will try to just see what's relevant. I went through some AI ethics workgroups information and found like around 8 assets that were like, ooh, that's good stuff. And one hard thing about like looking for assets is that I spent quite a lot of time reading how to transcribe and reading how to do interviews, which I didn't even need to do, but I just wanted to kind of see if it's good content. And yeah, and that was interesting and pretty useful. So yeah, one final part, GitHub PBL workgroups. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, let's move on. This the well, I feel like I'm a bit alone there with the work that's like reviewing the lessons and updating the lessons. However, I'm kind of made it so that by the end of the work, at least like the quarter, all of the stuff that we discussed in the last quarter and previous quarters is like updated on the GitHub site, so that we at least have a full version that we can use. So everybody who is now feeling, okay, we have this GitHub integration, but I never touched it, and have like an asynchronous method to learn to use it. And it's also considering like if it's the person who is the first time coming to the ambassador program, it tells you how to set up the wallet addresses and how to engage with members, where to find onboarding information. So it includes all of that. And on Damio side themselves, the Gimbal Labs team and on Damio team, they've been amazing at upgrading it to main chain now. So yeah, the downside is that if you want to be part of the course, you do need Cardano wallet action and you need to connect to it. But then again, in order to receive recognition, you need it anyway. So it's kind of moving towards blockchain verification, and yeah, now also credentials, or like learning credentials will come through that. I guess that's about it.
Awesome. Thanks a lot. Yeah, something I also put in chat, but could you perhaps on the Thursdays put something in the calendar for the like the deadline for submitting tasks to get included in that week's distribution?
I thought it's already there.
It's not recurring.
Oh, it's not repetitive.
Point. I do remember seeing something like it, like please don't put any tasks during the slot.
Yeah, let me make it a weekly thing. Yeah, it's happening every week. Yeah, I made probably an unrepeatable. Yeah, that's actually a weekly thing. I'm doing it every week.
Cool. Ah, yeah, I see it now.
Updated.
Awesome. Okay, so Vanessa asking in chat, what day is that session on GitHub integration with Treasury?
Well, since you made me open calendar, it's on 6th May.
At 10 UTC, I believe.
Yes.
Cool. All right, then, yeah, thanks, Devin. Moving on the next slide, starting off with LATAM and RnD, which brings us to Guillermo.
David. Hi, everyone. Yeah, sorry for my voice. Autumn, cold weather is changing. It's beautiful. We missed it. Good to see you, everyone. Colin, hey, you girl. So let's start with keep it simple, short with RnD. So as Pete mentioned at the beginning, we extended until this Friday voting, even if it's a formality, but it helped us to understand the temperature of what committee members would like to, what is good stuff or not, kind of get a sentiment survey of what is good for the community, as we have, as all guilds and work groups prioritize in regards to budget adjustments. But still, it was 12 votes till today. So yeah, they are all in pairs, so they are kind of on the same numbers. So we're going to have 3 new proposals to work on this next quarter. Then we did include last deployment on the year report. It was the SDB skill database. We showcase and we collaborate with the AI Sandbox on showcasing the tool. We did some, well, and now we are working on what will be adoption, and yeah, the next step is also share it with deep funding so they can use it. They have reached us to have a presentation on one of their town halls, so that will be the next step with that, another tool deployed. And the other thing we have been working on and discussing, it's on the, yeah, what would be optional tools? What are we building? If we use it or not, for what? So yeah, a lot of adjustments, probably also the same as Chivo mentioned. Less overhead, a lot of async, so probably more process thinking. We turn into monthly meetings, even though it was bi-weekly, and probably that will stay that way. Yeah, and again, call to action, vote, form, and link on our channels. Yeah, and that will be the next step. Share with you guys the final result. That's till Friday midnight. And then with LATAM, again, it was more about thinking on May and June actions. There's a list of events we want to participate. Probably, well, we kept our strong commitment with amplifying and communication with our platforms, and pushing out all. We have this ASI LATAM account on Twitter, so we are kind of working on strategize some messaging in there. We got some attention, so that was good. Yeah, trying to prioritize also, but looking forward to see what we can come up with for the, yeah, let's say more June and May, the end of May. Yeah, and that will be it, I think. Yeah.
Nice. Thanks a lot. Really curious to know the final amount of participation on the vote. Let's see, moving on to education, and that makes me check the attendance list to see if we have a representative, of which I'm not quite sure. Doesn't look like it? Question mark? Next on the list would be AI Sandbox. Just getting called out by Guillermo as well and having the session on the skill database. So that's at least something there, but I'm not sure if there's, I don't think there's a representative. Kind of a pattern here with a small attendance today. I think on Gamers Guild.
I'm not an official AI Sandbox person, but I do have a little bit of an announcement. We do have a new member. Her name is Shalini Ananda. She is a machine learning a machine learning researcher, but she has developed a neuron system that she wants to try to possibly incorporate with OpenCog Hyperon eventually. So I think she's going to be giving a presentation tomorrow. I think she talked with Vasti last week about it. Or actually, we're doing. Sorry, my fault. Back up. Rewind. Tomorrow we're doing Think Tank. Or I mean, on Thursday we're doing Think Tank, and we're going to be doing a discussion on AI ethics. And then the following week, Shalini Ananda will be presenting. So
awesome. Thanks for sharing, and we'll make some noise for that. All right. Then moving on to Gamers Guild. I don't think there's a representative there. Perhaps these groups, I'll make note which ones we skipped on, and if people join in late, still give them a shot, of course. Then on moderators, well, that's me, so I'm here. I'll keep it somewhat short though. It's relatively straightforward. There's been a quite big uptick on scam attempts on Telegram, not so much on Discord. That's very steady, and on Discord we kind of like somehow we catch them before they do the scam attempts. We kick about 100 of people every single day, just on join. Yeah, so they don't get to the part where they're actually trying to scam. On Telegram, this is quite a different story. It's just, it appears too easy to make new accounts, and once an account gets banned, yeah, they just spin up a new one. Yeah, that's just, it really pays off to be a little bit educated there, because the moment you ask a question on a channel, that you get multiple DMs of people trying to help you. There's all kind of fake airdrop links, casino spins. There's this safeguard scam attempt where it looks like, oh, to stay safe and stay in the channel, please click this button. Don't click it. Yeah, it's all phishing and scams. But for some reason, there's a big uptick over the last week. Not sure what causes it, but apparently it's still worth it for the scammers to just keep trying. And clearly it's worth it, because the moment they get a wallet, the rewards for the rest of the month are in, probably. And I think that's pretty much it on moderation side of things. Yep. Then the next slide brings us to marketing. And I'm not even sure if any of the work groups on the current slide have a representative. I don't think they do, to be honest, all four of them. Well, that ensures we stay within the time slot today, so that's a plus. It's also a bit unfortunate, because I would like updates. Yeah, without representatives, we can't listen to the updates, so that's relatively straightforward there. Next one being strategy. It's the same story, isn't it? Then next up, there's governance and open governance combined with it. I'm not sure if we even have a proper like work group lead. Sometimes I put Vanessa on the spot there. Sometimes I'm not sure who else actually, to be honest.
you or Guillermo?
I mean, we can probably do a quick update between us that I mean we had a meeting to look at the work we started in a town hall some time ago about how do we respond to low token price. And we did some work prioritizing and talking about it, and then we're now at the point of trying to take the two favorite ideas further. So there is a sign up sheet if people are interested in being part of one of two little working parties to do that. So you'll find the link somewhere in Ambassador General, but I'll try and find it in a minute and post it here. And today we had a session on kind of where do we start the conversation on work group minimums, and I had to drop off before the end, so I don't know what the upshot of that was. Anyone?
I think the meeting lasted about 3 or 4 more minutes. Basically, to go ahead with creating a sheet where the work groups indicate their absolute minimum tasks of staying alive and doing something useful. Yeah, to basically give that a go and then go from there, comparing across the work groups. That makes me want to quickly check out the rolling agenda document to see if there's other updates to be shared right now. My desktop doesn't have the document. Good stuff. Well, broadly speaking, I think over the last month, yeah, clearly the focus has been budget, 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 budget. That's kind of a result of the declining token price. Luckily, we're at least now at the level at which we made the budget. The token price we used for that was 30 cents. So it's in a way still, yeah, well, it's less urgent in that sense because the budgets we made can be executed. At the same time, and I mentioned this earlier today as well, discussions on like the minimums that work groups need to run. I think it's still, yeah, very worthwhile to explore just to have that information. At some point, there might be new work groups popping up. Yeah, and we just don't know what token price is going to do, right? So
Oh, and we should probably say that Thursday's governance meeting is quite an interesting topic suggested by you, Tevo, actually, about contribution and looking at patterns from our data, like high cost individuals and the whole thing of the ratio of how much time someone puts in versus how much they earn. And what do we actually mean by contribution and participation anyway? So that's Thursday at 1400 UTC.
This week,
Yeah.
800 UTC.
I mean, since it was you that's got most of the data, if you can't make it, we should change it around a bit. But in the last meeting, you said you couldn't do Tuesday, so we said Thursday.
Okay, yeah, it's not open though. Yeah, that call?
Oh, maybe
400. Yeah, okay, yeah, it's the same one.
1400. Yeah,
Yeah, okay. Okay, I was already thinking something new.
okay. And to anyone listening on YouTube or whatever, this is how exciting the ambassador program really is.
nice. Okay, I think that covers governance, which brings us to funny on onboarding side of things. If I'm
Oh yeah, I haven't really thought about what to say about onboarding. We have gone to monthly meetings, which was cost-saving initiative, and we're working on some final outputs, like a little report on the research that we did on how people onboard to the concept of decentralization. Like, do we tell people enough about it? Do they get it? Do they feel comfortable with it? And all that kind of thing. So some interesting stuff is going to be coming out of that soon. And oh gosh, I can't remember what date it is, but I think it might be the 5th of May. Does that make sense? No, it's not. It will be, well, it's early May. We're doing a training session about a sort of skill sharing session about kind of how people from the ambassador program can get involved in the rest of the ecosystem. So that should be quite interesting. But then the actual main onboarders team are just trucking on with onboarding people, putting them through that channel that makes me laugh, the how to get started channel that tells you how to get started, and like making sure that they do all the stuff they need to do, like creating a wallet and signing up on various, DWork and GitHub now and whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
awesome.
that's about all for onboarding, I think.
All right, then. I mean, next on the list is archives.
Oh, we need to change the order, don't we? All right. So yeah, archives, we're plugging on with the summary tool redesign, which has produced kind of little blockers that are interesting to us, but are probably not that interesting to everybody else. But we're getting there. And we're still working on the overall kind of graph RAG process that allows us to interrogate the information that's actually in the archives corpus. And yeah, as core members from archives didn't actually get funded for our BGI Nexus proposal, which we were totally gutted about, we might be looking at how we can integrate some little bits of that work on ways to kind of verify and audit the results of a graph RAG process in an ethical way. So we won't be able to do much of it, but it might be something that crops up in our future plans in the long term. And also, just to say that we're not auditing summaries this quarter. We're just putting them in, even if we can see they're wrong, they're just going in, and that's as an experiment to see how the GraphRag process handles that. But we're noticing that there's not as many summaries as we usually have. And I don't know if it's just because people are not doing them or if they're slow to go up or what. We decided a while back that the deadline should be a month after the meeting takes place. And if there's no summary by then, we're not chasing them. We're just going to record it as no summary given. So that's just a little reminder, and we will put that out as a reminder. But yeah, next meeting is Wednesday the 7th. So hopefully see people then.
Nice. Thanks a lot for that. Yeah, I also realized checking the archive that it pretty much looked to me like the only additions were coming from governance work group. But this is maybe
It's not quite as bad as it looks. I have got a bit of a backlog to actually archive, but yeah, it has been slower than usual. So
that's not good. Well, good to know, but should not ideally shouldn't be the case, right?
I mean, yeah, but I do in Discord, I do see a lot of people posting meeting summaries for, their work group to correct. I just think maybe they're not getting into the tool. Don't know.
We'll see. I mean, I'm importing the meeting participation. I do see quite often now that meeting seems to be cancelled because I see like 5, 6 people joining call and then it's like 10, 15 minutes call. So probably it's more like postponing or like canceling or moving to the next week. So that can be that. And
Mm,
well, I have
maybe.
previously I had 4 work groups running, now 0 basically in the last few weeks.
Yeah.
So that also cuts down of like 8 meetings a month. I don't know how you
Mm.
kind of look at the numbers.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I have noticed that some of your work groups have had, they've had no summaries for a while because they're not running. But for some, I am seeing a summary in their Discord channel, but it's just not in the tool. So yeah, be interesting to see what happens with that. I'm seeing it as experimental now because we have got quite a good solid corpus to work with, and now we can kind of play with that a bit.
Okay, cool. Um, well, AI ethics.
God. All right, AI ethics. Yeah, I mean, people are working on transcribing interviews, which we did in previous quarters, and then they'll be checking those, and then that will enable us to actually start analysing. So the aim is to, we'd like to do some more interviews soon, but at the moment we're aiming to get a sort of end-to-end process so we can actually analyse the stuff and manage the knowledge that we've gained. Also, I'll be updating our training materials based on what we've learnt. So all that stuff that you've just put in the knowledge base tab might be updated. So we'll need to kind of notify you of that. Our next meeting is the 12th of May. It would normally be the 5th, but yeah, it's a bank holiday, so we're not doing that. And we also have a session discussing AI and emotion led by Colleen on Monday the 19th. I don't know if you want to say out about it, Colleen.
Pretty self-explanatory, just discussing the need for AI emotion and alignment. So join us. I'm just waiting on marketing for a little infographic about it, and I think we should be getting it soon. I talked to Mikasa earlier.
Nice. Looking forward to that one. I just read a paper on. It's a little bit of a sidetrack, but at the same time, the next slide is the open topics slide. So I'll hook in here. On in context of alignment, taking principles from Buddhism and applying that, and really can recommend it. I think I shared it on the ethics channel. Yeah, I think I did.
But if you haven't, share it again if you have the link.
Yeah, on that system, not on this one. But
Oh.
I think I could kind of stop screen sharing, right? Because the next slide is the open round, which I think we can do without a slide. So let me go ahead and stop the sharing. Vanessa, thanks for the. Yeah, okay. Well, when the date for that skill sharing session is known, let's get it on the calendar. Magic.
Maybe if you are doing now open topics or final comments, I would like to thank Lady Tempest who shared me all the defunding stuff because and Guillermo too. I think feels like only ambassador members cares about onboarding defunding. Like I don't know how to engage with them in like easy way, but because if I don't use Mattermost and was like because you have a public channel here in Discord in Singularity net and you are ignoring people who are trying to onboard, then it's like a bit awkward situation. So I'm good that we have ambassadors who are have the material and know how to engage with the funding and to get material. And now I use the material on the local event. And that was also my first time where I didn't really prepare that much. Took me like an hour or two to repurpose the ambassador program slides to onboard people or like to explain defunding and SingularityNet. And then, yeah, I think I got the best out feedback after that compared to where I spent like hours and hours to describe what and to make slides and figure out how do I share what people do around me. So I know they did record. I don't know if I get access to that, I will be sharing that. And yeah, thanks everybody who contributed.
Awesome. Yeah, cool. Just feeling there's this one thing escaping me, which I should be mentioning, but well, that's the escaping part, not helping out. No, it actually escaped me. Anyone else in the room, in the relatively small room we have today? And thanks for being part of that small group still, of course, and spending your time here and giving updates. I think that's a wrap then.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. And hope to...
And thank you, Peter, for hosting. Thank you so much.
No worries. Oh, just one practical thing on tomorrow. The Death by AI game is scheduled at the same slot as Education. I'm not sure how.
Again, no, we were going to change that, I thought. I'm sorry, maybe I wasn't clear when I spoke with you. Yeah, we need to change that time. I think we're going to go with the 11 o'clock right after that. Is that still open?
I don't know which time zone this is, but 16
Oh,
UTC.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah, that would be 16, right?
Yeah, sure. That works.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll put that in the channel. I appreciate that. Thanks for mentioning that.
No worries. Yeah, then do have a nice reminder of your just in, and hope to see you in one of the still 11 more calls to come this week. And have a good one. Cheers.